What's up, everybody? Welcome to my deck tech for Mana Monsters! We're gonna jump right in here. I played with it a little bit versus the computer to try and see what direction I wanted to take this thing in. We unlocked all the cards. We're gonna go through. We're gonna talk about this particular build, what I'm going for here, and what we're gonna do with it. Just in the future, so you know how things are going to run, we're going to talk about this particular build. We're not really going to get into the cards that we left out for whatever reason. And then we're going to go ahead and just try a couple different builds, try and see what we can do. So let's go ahead and start at the beginning, which is the mana base for this thing. You can see over at the side that it's kind of crazy there. I mean, it's about as good as you can get from a 5-color deck. Let's go ahead and talk about these cards. Now, I've got all of these in here. Everything that's going to get me a land, all the sack lands are in here. There's 6 of them altogether. I think that's pretty good. I haven't really had any times where I've been like sad to have one. I don't really have a problem with drawing them. I have gotten them late in the game when I've already tutored up all my other lands, and at that point it's a little disheartening because you don't really want to be at that point in this deck where you just don't really have anything to do. But we do get a lot of lands rather quickly. The matches are pretty long, so I don't really have a problem with any of these Terramorphic Expanses or the other sack lands. So let's talk about Rampant Growth here. It's going to allow us to search for a basic land card. This, of course, is in here. I think it's going to be in every iteration of this deck that we do. I run all of them. I mean, getting the mana base right early on is going to be what puts you over the top and going to be what really helps you win. So I definitely think that Rampant Growth is a great addition to this deck, and we're probably going to keep it in there regardless of what happens. Next card we got is Savage Twister. This is a good card. It's a mass removal spell. This deck, the particular build that we have right now, is pretty much Cascade and mass removal. That's the whole crux of the deck. That's what we're looking for. That's what we want it to do. And that's how you win. That's your win condition, pretty much. This is a great mass removal card because it can work early and it can work late. We tutor up lands very quickly. So it's very effective. I like Savage Twister in here quite a bit. We run both of them. We'd be around up here. I want to make sure I'm not leaving out any the cards I take out. We're running Cultivate. This lets us get 2 lands. One of them is going to go into our hand. The other one is going to go onto the battlefield tapped. We're running all those as well, of course. We're tutoring up lands like pros. Jund Charm is an early game mass removal spell. Late game it doesn't do a whole lot of good for us. There's not a whole lot of graveyard play in the format, so the first effect, not super useful. The third effect, considering how big our creatures already are, is not going to be the difference maker in whether or not you win. So it's really just for an early, it's a more expensive early game Pyroclasm. It's the best we can do. We want the removal in there, so I run 2 of those as well. Lavalanche, this is actually a finisher. This isn't so much a removal spell as I use this as a finisher. Like I said, we get all of our lands out with relative ease. So this is definitely a card that I want to keep in here just so that we can maximize our potential with all of those lands out, because this will just end the game because it does damage to target player. It's a pretty sweet card. The only problem with it is that we are running off of a Cascade type of format. It's castable, but X would be 0, I believe, is how it would work in a Cascade effect. So, not great. And I might be wrong on that. Go ahead and correct me if I am, but I'm pretty sure that's how that would work. Maelstrom Pulse, this is spot removal. Pretty important. It's going to allow us to get rid of copies of cards, so we run all those. Pernicious Deed is awesome. It's a removal spell again, mass removal of course, so we keep it in there. Vindicate, more spot removal, we keep that in as well. Day of Judgment, mass removal, staying in. Allied Strategies, I took one of them out in the episode that you guys saw where we unlocked cards. I am running 3 of them. I think that's pretty good. I don't want to use it too much. The one weakness of this deck is that I am yet to have a win where I ended the game with like more than 10 lands. So it is a little concerning, or more than 10 cards left in my deck rather, I'm sorry about that. So it's a little concerning that we get that low. I'm not looking forward to mill matchings, which might be popular if this deck is popular in the metagame right now. The mill matchup could be a little tricky for us, but we are running those. All Sun's Dawn is awesome. You're going to be able to get 5 cards out of your yard. The little advice that I'm going to tell you, I don't know if I'll do it necessarily because it does take a lot of time, is you want to use up all of your clock, if you have to go ahead and take a look at your graveyard, really detailed look at your graveyard and figure out exactly what you're taking from the different color pairings. Because if a card is more than one of these, it's going to show up more than once, and all of our cards are multicolor, you know, by and large. This might be the only monocolor card. That could be a lie. But this is one of the only monocolor cards, and we can't get it back because of its exile effect. So it's really important that you just go through, you look at your yard, and you come up with a nice strategy for what you want to get back. Finest Hour. This is a good one. I don't know if I'm in love with it. The Exalted's funny because it's till end of turn, so your creature on that second attack phase is actually going to get +2/+2 total. It's going to be +1/+1 the first time, +1/+1 the second time. That's pretty hilarious. We've got huge creatures, so I like it. Finest Hour, it's in there, it's cheap. We don't see it very often because there's only one of them, it's in there. This thing is a goddamn home run hitter. This thing is the card. This is the little engine that runs this deck. It gives the first spell we cast, Cascade, so our biggest spell of the turn is always going to be our first one. Cascade is an amazing effect. If you don't know what it does, we're going to fish through our deck. We're going to reveal cards off the top until we reveal a card that costs less than the card we are playing, and then we get to cast that for free. It's amazing. Cascade is the freaking best. I will also note there's other Cascade cards in here. There's one other Cascade card. It stacks, so you'll double Cascade if this card is out. So that's pretty damn sick. Prophetic Bolt is amazing. We deal 4 damage and we get to get a card. When you Cascade into Bolt and then you get Bolt, you get another removal spell off of Bolt. It's a really good feeling. This deck is actually super fun. I'm actually really psyched to take this online. Defiler Souls, he's pretty good at the beginning of each player's upkeep. You sacrifice a monocolored creature. We don't have any monocolored creatures, so he's in there. He costs 6, he comes out pretty frequently, and he will decimate monocolored decks. So he's in there. If they're playing a multicolored deck, something like that, he's not fantastic, but he is still going to thin the herd out to the point where we want him in there. Megalanoth, we got Vigilance Trample, and whenever he blocks, he's going to deal that damage that he receives to the controller of the creature. Oh wait, no. It's equal to his power, so he's going to just go ahead and do 6 damage to the creature's controller every time he blocks. It's pretty badass. I haven't really blocked with him ever. Maybe that's why I wasn't positive on what he does, but he's good. He's a 6/6 for 6 with Vigilance and Trample, and he's got tricks. I like him. He's a good guy. Vorosh the Hunter, this guy I went back and forth on. He goes off with regular efficiency, though. And his Cascade cost is pretty impressive because he costs 6. So I do like him. He's just not perfect. I wish he had a little something else, but he does have the evasion of flying, and for just 3 mana, you get to double him to a 12/12, and then take him to an 18/18. So he's good. He's gone off a couple of times. He's reached 18/18 for me. He goes off a surprising amount. And finally, we have Enigma Sphinx. This guy is awesome. He is our Cascade card, and also, if he goes into the yard from the battlefield, we're going to get the bonus of being able to cast him again in a little bit, because we are going to draw him 3rd from the top. So if he's going to die, if you're going to do something that would make him die, and you have the card draw card in your hand, go ahead and wait until Sphinx gets put into the yard before you activate any of those kind of abilities, because he will jump back up into your hand then when you cast that draw spell. So there you go, you guys. This is the Cascade deck. It's kind of a control deck. I like the removal. I like my control decks, and I like my things to do late game when they're that powerful. So this is a lot different than most decks I play with, but it is what we are going to be taking online for this first little playtesting. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck tech. I mean, that's 60 cards in there. It is 60 cards, and I'm feeling really good about it. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait to show you guys. So, be sure to stay tuned, because I'm going to break them up into 2 separate videos, and we'll be going ahead and getting some wins here.